Hey everybody, live here, Mike Rolla, just hopping on impromptu. Mother Mary and JC have a message that they wanted me to really share, and it has to do with unconditional love. Mother Mary always bringing the unconditional love, and I've done messages with that with her before, but you can never really talk about unconditional love too much, at least not yet, I guess, right? And how can you ever talk about love too much, right? So she really wanted to point out a lot of things. It's not a lot of things. It's like it's as we grow, as we evolve, as we realize it's there's a lot of it that is all connected and that all comes together, and that is all you know that we all put together, like that creates the world that we live in, right? But it's very simple, and I'm gonna do a video with that soon, hopefully. The simple video, it's all so simple, you guys. But in this case, so I was with Mother Mary and JC, and I said, well, humanity, right, and love, and it's always, I always think of Mother Mary or Mama Gaia, or one of the feminine, nurturing and all that, and then I said, well, what about JC? I said, he came here, he did all that for us, and he's a humanitarian right there, yeah. And she was like, no, I got this, okay. It was funny, but I do feel like maybe as I go, JC might pop in. So, anyways, here we go. The premise is, unconditional love, and I might have said it before because I've felt this way myself for a long time, but that idea that the unconditional love is always here, and all it takes is for you to decide to express it over expressing fear, doubt, worry, what's going to happen, this, that, and the other. It's not so necessarily easy to do per se in your human world, in your human realm. Sorry, I got a kitty. I'm making sure he's not terrorizing. It may not be so easy, right, in your society to do, but nonetheless, it is what we are all here for. Bringing unconditional love is very simple in its application because you just love everything. Just stop asking questions, stop wondering what's wrong with it or what it did or how it did it or when it did. Just stop, just love it. And she says if we focus there, then we can make a lot of progress, and we can skip a lot of the baggage, the old world mentalities, the struggle. She says, give me the poor man, rich man thing. Where the poor man. I think I read it once somewhere. I can't remember where, but it's the poor man's mentality is, oh, I already been there, I already done that, I already know what's going on, it's not going to work out, and blah, and they're broke, sitting on their couch, watching TV, drinking beer, or whatever, in the picture, but the rich man is, like, always into, like, new things, and always, like, wow, and always in awe, and in wonder, and knows that he doesn't know everything, and even if he has done something once before, doing it again isn't ever going to be the same because you've done it once before now. So every time is different, and this applies to love and unconditionally loving people. It's not about what they did in the past. It's not about how much, it's not about adding people up and determining if they equal worthiness. It's what that is one's own personal internal belief of themselves or lack of belief in themselves, that then puts it on another to fulfill that for them. So when the other doesn't or does, the unconditional love is something that you have to be unconditionally loving all the time, and it has to be consistent, and in the world nowadays, there's so many reasons to be upset with anyone else or whatever, so many things that try to make us fear, and the media, and I don't know, politics, religion, society, countries. I'm in America, right? So we're always like we all don't like communism, right? Because we're capitalism. I mean, it's like whatever you want to pick, it's like you can pick a reason to not like something. And if you use logic to explain it all, well, then you're just making the equation equal on both sides, right? So, but what about all that other information? So like the poor man, rich man, poor man, he already figured it out. He's got his equation. But the rich man says, oh, well, what about this other aspect that we can include that changes the whole thing, right? So then you're unconditionally loving someone who may already equal an equation for you and has for some time, but until you free yourself from your own judgments about how or why or what, because you might be right about how or why, but what do you want to do with how you feel? What do you want to do with that? Like, like my best friend or my lover or my partner, they did all these things and wow, it's so messed up. Why would you do? So now you're feeling, oh, it's so messed up. Oh, what if it's just their process? What if it's just something that they, lack of understanding? Because we all have, certain strengths, certain weaknesses, right? And any weakness perceived in someone that you have as a strength, you can't judge them for that. You just help them. You just say, hey, well, think about it this way. What about this angle? I see what you're doing. I've been there before. So let's get together. Let's help. Let's whatever. But you have to put it out there in that way so that it's understood by the person who is receiving it, because they might not understand what you went through. So it's just like channeling, and learning to channel or become a medium or work with, non-physical beings and energy and all these things. When we all get together, those of us that do this, we can talk to each other easy. We know what we're going through. We understand things. We know we can share experiences and we can really relate and say, oh, that's like this one I had, or that sounds like it's this. And then we get messages and divine guidance comes in. And then we're like, oh, hey, this is what so-and-so saying about that just happened to you, right? And then we get into this whole world. But then if you go and say it to someone who knows absolutely nothing about it, you can't expect, right? So there's that line between, well, what exactly do you need, what exactly do you want, and what exactly are you expecting, particularly if it shouldn't be expected in something or someone, right? So unconditional love means always loving, always knowing what that place of peace and kindness and compassion and caring and respect, self-respect, respect of others and their privacy. A classic example is, for me, right? Even right now in my life, I have roommates. When they come home, they want to work out. Be my guest, right? I leave, I come upstairs, hang out in the bedroom for 30 to an hour, whatever, right? I don't hate them. I don't, oh, they're always wanting to work out. They're wanting to work out. That's great. I would join you if, we were closer and, you didn't want to embarrass of us, working out together, which is, I'm pretty sure the only reason why, but it's one of those things where you can give it, but you don't have to lose it. So you beat it and you're in that love and you create that space of peace around you. And when you have that around you, nothing else, matters. So how do we do this unconditional love thing in the world? Well, you just do it. You choose it. It's like I've said before, like laws and rules, and I'm not knocking them. We need them. There's certain ones that we definitely need. But the idea being is if you break a rule, and then now it's time for you to get in trouble. Okay, well, if the people who would want to put you in trouble decide not to, then you're not in trouble, right? So what just happened there? Now in your mind, you're thinking you're going to get in trouble, you're worrying, you're doing all these things. So and you apply this to your life. Are you more worried about what might happen? Or are you trusting and loving in the feeling that in your heart to do what you need to do for you and what feels right, and then knowing that the people around you are all going to support that and love you. They're not going to hate you for doing it. They're going to, they're going to see that you're giving love and that you're being loved, and they're going to want to hang out with you instead of their boss, right? If you're talking about work, if you're worried about your boss, we ain't coming down on you, whatever. I mean, but then they change their mind, well, what happened? Nothing, no harm, no foul. So this whole idea of systems and like rules and like we need, it's great, but they're guidelines, and and what makes, it's like governments, like I'm in America, like I say, I'm in America. So, what is our government? How do they make their money? We pay it to them in our taxes, right? So if we're giving it to them, then you as an individual are a very important person to all of that system, right? So you have to realize how important it is that you maintain that peace, that unconditional love, and yeah, create that vibration in your life and bring it with you wherever you go, because we all need more of it. And yeah, can never have enough. Okay, I think JC is wanting to come in. Unconditional love is very simple, as this one was saying earlier. It's so simple that I lived my entire existence walking the earth and giving it all the time. I spent much of my time learning, giving, seeking knowledge, wisdom, communicating with God and higher divine, was it other very high divine beings? Okay, because we are all sons and daughters of God. So it is not just I who did what I did. It is you all right now who are doing what you are doing. I know the situation is not the same, but in the end, the result and the goal and the doing is sort of the same. Whatever realm or time you exist in. So whatever history says, whatever the past, history repeats itself. Yes, but once again, like said earlier, that pattern that you see, that you've determined and you've made your equation, and that's what it'll always be. Well, now when that circles around again, no, it's not that same equation. It's a new equation because you've done it once before already, to go with what this one had just said. Whereas in this case, we've done this many times. And it's not, what's the word? What's that? And it's not the last time we're going to do it, okay? I was getting a lot of, not the last time, so many more. So yeah, anything else on unconditional love? There's a lot of misunderstanding in the world, and it's all because of decisions being made by humans that do not allow for other information to come in. This is why sharing is so important. All of you sharing that which you are. That's all you need to do. And when you see that you are all human together, that is when you will be able to love each other again. When you see someone who is suffering and is crying, your heart comes out for them. It is no longer about whatever equation you have that adds up a person who looks how that person looks, or whatever the case may be. You just love them. And by loving them, you heal them, because you allow them to have space, a space to heal in, of acceptance, to be who they need to be, to express however they need to express. Excuse me. He's talking about us being the anchors of it. Now, a lot of us with the deeper knowing and truth, it can be difficult at times, knowing things of a deeper nature and a more bigger picture. And he's saying the importance of just maintaining your love for yourself also, which is all apparent, which I really would think about things and look at a lot of stuff that's coming out now. It just seems like this is going on all over, and I think that's why it's coming out too, and they wanted me to get on. Hey Trish, cool. It doesn't say anybody's live. What's up? I saw some icons pop up. Anchors for what? Sorry. I think there's a delay, so it's probably usually always like a minute back that I was talking about something. So try to be more, just, yeah, give me more and all. But anchors, as far as I'm getting, you talking about us being the anchors? Yeah, yeah. That's why it can be so much fun. You know, because we have so much knowledge and wisdom within us that is ready to come out, but it needs the proper pathway to come out, which is what happens when you try and tell people things that they don't understand, because then they don't, and then it kind of falls apart. So there's a gradualness to this, and this is why we say be patient with yourselves through this, and everything is divinely timed. You know, it really is. So it's more important to not rush it and find your own pattern and where you're at and your timing and how much you can, you know, contribute to your own vibrational upliftment that is going to allow you to have more love, because then the other environments wherever you go aren't going to have the same effect on you, you know, which can make it tough at times. Okay, this is what JC was saying, was when a lot of us go through this first, or, you know, primarily, and ground a lot of the energy that comes in. We're one of the first ones. A lot of times, like for me, for this one, whatever, I noticed that every time I start if I hop on YouTube and I'll start checking out some channels and YouTube's mediums, you know, things like that, and messages, I always realize like it's already been a week, or it's usually like 2 days or 3, but sometimes it's been like a week that I've already gone through like everything that everyone's talking about, you know, like whatever, Schumann resonance, all of that stuff, the energy pouring in. And because of that, it's crucial to stay grounded and drink water. That's what JC has to say about that, because that's really it. There's a lot of messages that come out that can seem repetitive, but the reality is that's because that's what it is. When humans find the truth, will they believe it? Right? Or are they going to keep searching to fill in their you know, we're self-serving, our linear, you know, oh, that makes sense, so that means it must be true. Well, not in the spiritual realm, especially, and well, it does make sense in the spiritual realm, but to compare to a human, you know, it's like, you know, oh wait, what? We're multi-dimensional. Wait, you mean there's like 29 of me right now? You know, or whatever. I mean, you could pick so many examples, you know, and no, it doesn't make sense. And that's why we have said before, don't try to understand it with like your human brain. Don't try to, you know, you have to feel it within your heart. You have to know it. It has to be you in order to become your light body, in order to become your galactic, divine, whatever, your divine self. You have to embody it. It's a physical thing also. It's not just spiritual, mental, meditating, this type of stuff too. So that's why your body will go through things. Your life around you will go through things. It's all connected. And the more unconditional love you can bring, no matter what, like, oh, I didn't get to bed when I wanted to get to bed tonight because the dog was, you know, having a fit and I had to, you know, or whatever, or, you know, every morning our kitty, he's on the windowsill and I gotta go around to the side of the bed, I gotta pull it up so he can sit up in the windowsill because we keep it closed at night, you know. So, you know, every morning, 6 o'clock, doesn't matter, on the dot, sometimes maybe 6:30. So me sleeping in to 7, maybe 8, I mean, I figure it's close enough, I'll just get up anyways, but instead of being like upset, and children are a perfect example. And I think I said that before, with people who don't understand, you can't come down on them. You just you just love them. You say, yeah, I didn't get the sleep that I think I needed or wanted or whatever, but I love my life. I love you. I love my kitty, right? I love me, and if I'm really tired tonight, I'm gonna go to bed early, right after I feed them, or like whatever it is, because you want to get in bed early, but you gotta take care of them, So, and once you get aligned with that, that's how your whole world comes in. That's how your new world comes in. But you have to be new. It's just like the saying goes, you can't do this. It's insanity. You can't do the same thing and expect a new result. And again, again, none of this is black and white. It's gray until you decide, because it's like they say, believing is seeing. Not the other way around. Seeing is believing. Believing is seeing, because what you believe in determines what your perspective is going to be. So you're going to see that. If I believe that every 5'10" male is a nice guy, well, then everyone I see I'm going to think that they're nice, even if they're not, right? So what's the reality there? Is it the reality that you're living in? Oh, I cut out there. It gave me a poor wireless connection. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. I hope we got that end part. Hey Trish, thank you so much. Message exactly what I need to hear. Okay, good, cool. I'm glad. Yeah, that, like I was saying, I think it's coming now, and a lot of people are talking about that. I saw the YouTube. I'm on the Higher Self channel, so I see a lot of them. They all come through, and I just kind of like, I pick out. But really cool channel. You guys check it out, Higher Self. It's like a compiling of all the mediums and all the stuff, and maybe I'll be on there one day, But it's really cool. A lot of good stuff. And I think one of them said, I can't think who it was. I don't want to not, give them credit, but I think it was, we are the ones that we've been waiting for, and that's always resonated with me. That's been around for a while. But again, it doesn't mean that it's not true. It doesn't mean that we don't need to be reminded. It doesn't mean that we don't need to embody that, and we're still in that process of really embodying that. So it's a very good message. And when I saw it, it was one of my favorites, because there's that point where we all think that we're going to be saved, or there's these other beings. But then the reality is we have to do it ourselves. So, and we are the ones that we've been waiting for. So it was, and that was really, I think, apropos for this whole thing, like with unconditional love. And probably why Mother Mary was coming, and because it started this morning when I was looking at the videos. I didn't listen to it because I already, I've heard that one a lot. But, the unconditional love comes here when you decide to bring it. Right? This is all about empowering yourself. This is why I named my channel Awakening Consciousness. It's our consciousness that needs to awaken so that we understand the effects that we're having on our worlds. And that's a lot. It's a lot, but you don't have to go back, figure everything out. You just need to know where you're at now and see and listen and feel and be a part of your life. And this is, goes back to my last message with Michael, is, being a part of your life. Why doesn't your life feel right? It's because you're not in it enough. You're not in it in the places that you need to be in it. Because when you're in it, then who do you go to rely on? You, because that's you over there in that area of your life. So you become the creator and the boss of your life. You become the owner of your life. That's what this is all about. Awakening our consciousness, empowering us all, to really just be who we are, and with all the love that we have. I still don't, no matter what we see in the media, I still know, and I've always known, there are way more good people in the world than there are bad people. There are way more. We got them crazy outnumbered, and the only reason all the struggle and the strife and all this is because of, all the systems, the control systems, trying to control like an entire country on a but a couple rule sets, right? For example, or even like in school, you get to that point where it's like, how are you going to teach 30 kids math all in the same class when they all don't learn the same way, right? Like, there's, so there's, well, what? There's just, and okay, so JC says, and that's why we need each one of us to really be here, and that's why we're all spread out. It's all divinely planned and strategic. They're already on it. But it's for us, it's the liberation of everything. When we liberate ourselves, we liberate the world around us, and you liberate the people that are in your life. It takes. I used to think to myself a lot. You know, like, oh, okay, well, I love myself. I always have. I've always loved to laugh and crack jokes and and just have fun with life. And then I've met people in my life who completely just totally not getting it. Like, not at all. So I went through a lot of lot of self work. But to the point where I was starting to judge myself in ways that I would have never judged myself, right? So the love that you give to yourself changes everyone around you, because now this person, in my life, it's like they have no effect over me anymore, because you learn so much about yourself, you learn so much about other people. And then it's like, okay, so what are we going to do? I figured out the system. I figured out the equation. Okay, it all adds up. It's why we don't get along, right? Or whatever, the case may be. Anybody in your life, right? Because if it's the equation, okay, well, what's going to break that equation, right? Unconditional love. And when you love yourself unconditionally, nobody can do anything to you or for you or make you feel bad or, or not worthy, which again are just the patterns that we all as humans play out, emotional patterns, that we have to clear, and we have to clean them up. And every time we clear or clean one up ourselves, it makes it easier on all of us. So you doing you is one of the most important things you could possibly do. So it's not selfish, right? It's not about being selfish. It's not about being any of these things. It's about you bringing the love and the vibration and you maintaining it, however it is for you. And that's, I guess that's a big other topic kind of getting into here. But yeah, unconditional love, right, guys? Okay. We'll save that one for another time, I guess. Yeah, so all right, I guess I'll leave it at that. I did kind of just impromptu, so I'm going to go relax, decompress for the day. It's 6 o'clock my time? All right, yeah, time to go. All right, much love, guys. See you guys next time. Namaste.